Good evening. Here is the world news from BGI TV, Baba Bagede Imo TV. I am Morire Rabila Lawal. First are the major headlines for the world news. ASUU strike, court adjourns case till September 16th. Tension in Enugu community as herders invade farms, destroy farm produce. Imo Monarch's kidnappers demand 200 million naira. Passenger robs Ogun motorcyclist with toy gun. Tragedy as 32-year-old man plunges into Asa River in Ilorin. Son to dad, please sell your car. Orders to pay my kidnappers 30 million naira. Viral video, Lautech alumni gifts graduates 500,000 naira. And on foreign, I feel the weight of history. King Charles addresses Parliament for the first time. And on sports, Kante rejects new Chelsea contract offer. The news in detail. The National Industrial Court has adjourned the case between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASUU to September 16th. Justice Polycarp Amen adjourned the matter to enable both parties to file the necessary papers for the suits. The head of press and public relations at the Ministry of Labour and Employment, Olajide Oshundun, had revealed that the matter was referred to the Registrar of National Industrial Court by the Minister of Labour and Productivity, Chris Ngige, following which the government approached the court requesting an order for ASUU to resume while the dispute is being addressed. ASUU embarked on strike since February this year, leading to the closure of public universities for 8 months now. The villagers who have been counting their losses after the invasion of the farmlands have therefore called on the state government to intervene and save them from the destructive activities of herders in the community. There is palpable tension in Iwolo community in Eziagu local government area of Enugu State following the invasion of farmlands in the community by suspected herdsmen. The villagers who have been counting their losses after the invasion of their farmlands have called on the state government to do the needful. They also asked the leadership of the Hausa Fulani community in the states to intervene and put an end to the invasion and destruction of their farms. A video of the invasion seen by Sahara reporters on Monday shows large herds of cattle eating cassava and local beans akidi on the farms. A voice in the background can be heard narrating the incident and warning that their youth may take their destinies into their hands if nothing is done urgently to save the situation. The narrator said the incident happened on a farm in Iwolo community and lamented that herdsmen have destroyed their farmland and crops while grazing their cattle. They want to create hunger for us. They enter our cassava farms, uproot them, and feed their cattle, while the animals destroy the remaining crops. Moving on to another event in Imo State. The kidnappers of a prominent traditional ruler, come businessman in Imo State, Eze Joel Indekwo, have slammed a 200 million naira as the condition for his release. The kidnappers made a demand on Sunday, 2 days after he was abducted in front of his office at the ever-busy Tetlow Road in Owerri, the state capital, around 7 p.m. Friday. The Isiala Umudi autonomous community Monarch's abductors had forced him inside their vehicles, both ends zoomed off. A source close to the kidnapped Monarch said that the kidnappers called for the first time on Sunday and placed the mouth-watering amount as a condition for his release. He disclosed that the kidnappers called one of his siblings through the Monarch's phone. The police spokesperson for the command, Michael Abatam, said that the command had begun investigations. Moving on to the next story from the southeast of Nigeria to southwest. Operatives of Soul Safe Corps in Ogun State have arrested a suspected armed robber, Ibrahim Oluwaseun, who attacked a commercial motorcyclist, Bamidele Mujib, with a toy gun. The 22-year-old suspect, a resident of Olorogo compound, Asheko Ibatefin area of Ipokia local government area of Ogun State, was arrested on Friday by the operatives. The statement and state commander of the Soul Safe, Soji Gonzalo, disclosed this in a statement by the Director of Information and Public Relations of the Corps, Maruf Yusuf. The statement read that the suspect pretended to be a passenger and hired the motorcyclist to convey him from Aferiku Street, Idiroko, to Obalende Streets, or Balano Street along Bebe Road leading to the Republic of Benin. Gonzalo said the suspect, who was on a robbery mission, later instructed the bike man to go through a narrow route that leads to the same destination. He said the suspect then brought out a gun, later discovered to be a toy gun, and commanded that the rider surrender himself and the bike or lose his life. At the scene, the SoSafe patrol team, a Diroko division led by CSC Abdul Karim Mohammed, who witnessed the funny act, pounced on the suspect and got him arrested. The suspect confessed to the crime during preliminary investigation. He added that the suspect, his victim, the motorcycle, and recovered the toy gun have all been handed over to the police at Idiroko Divisional Headquarters for further investigations and likely prosecution. Moving on to another story in Ilorin. A 32-year-old man, Peter Ajayi, reportedly plunged into the Asa River behind All Saints Anglican Church at Taiwo Isale Road in Ilorin, Kwara State capital, on Thursday. Daily Post report that in what looked like a movie, Peter ran to the riverside behind the church, took off his slippers and jumped into the river. The tragic incident occurred at about 11:45 a.m. Frantic effort by family members to prevent him from embarking on the action failed as he ran to the river side like a possessed person to actualize his aim. A source who witnessed the scene informed Daily Post in Ilorin on Sunday. All effort by the Kwara State Fire Service personnel to recover his remains proved abortive. The fire service spokesperson, Asen Adekole, told our correspondent that the search for Peter's body was on Sunday extended to the outskirts of Ilorin Shao Town in Moro, local government area of the state, without success. He, however, said the relentless search would continue until the fire service recovers the body. So, another part of tragic story again. A recording of an alleged conversation between a father and his son's kidnapper has been shared online. In the recording obtained by the Eagle Online, the boy was said to have been kidnapped somewhere in Ondo State. The kidnapper, who sounded like a northerner, asked the boy's father why he told someone about the kidnap. But in his defense, the man noted that he had no invite or to invite someone to speak to him, kidnapper, because he didn't understand Hausa. He said it was later he got to know that the kidnapper could converse in pidgin English. The kidnapper then asked him how much he asked for, and the man said 30 million naira. He went further to query him about the delay in paying the money, while noting that the boy's father doesn't have a choice. Then the kidnapper said he won't kill the boy because he is a child, but would leave him to starve until the father pays the money, else he would die from lack of food. Then the father started begging that the kidnapper should show mercy, as he has not been able to gather the 400,000 naira he promised ahead. But the kidnapper cursed him and said he won't collect the money instead. From that story, we go to another story from Southwest, or Bomosho precisely. A social media skit maker and graduate of Agricultural Extension and Rural Development at the Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, or Bomosho, or your state, or Shunleke Alaba, has been presented with a check of 500,000 naira by the school's alumni association. Alaba trended a video days ago after he approached the university in tears for not being able to do anything with the certificate he got from the school years after graduating. According to him, his parents took loans to fund his schooling and could not continue to sustain him with such, adding that his action was not a social media stunt. The skit maker said, "I returned the certificate because it had no impact on my existence. I asked for a refund of the fees paid in school so I could use it to build my talent and live a meaningful life. I am an entertainer and even won the MTN Talent Hunt Award during my years of service in 2016. I have continued to struggle in life such that opportunities I'm getting to is to do money rituals, but I don't want to do such. I want to be useful to Nigeria, my family, myself, and my God. I am married with 2 kids. My dad is 90 years old, but I continue to borrow money from him rather than give him. He told me that he took loans to refund my education and hasn't refunded them and cannot continue to borrow money to give me," he concluded. From the story from the skit maker stunt, we go to the foreign story. King Charles III has addressed lawmakers in Parliament, telling them, "I cannot but help feel the weight of history which surrounds us." Charles told members of the House of Commons and House of Lords that he would follow his late mother, Queen Elizabeth II, in upholding the precious principles of constitutional governance that underpin the UK's political system. He said tribute to his mother, saying, as Shakespeare said of the earlier Queen Elizabeth, she was a pattern to all princes living. Charles is due to travel from Parliament to Edinburgh and accompany the Queen's coffin to St. Giles Cathedral for a service of remembrance. Meanwhile, Queen Elizabeth II's grandson, Prince Harry, held on Monday as a guiding compass and praised her unwavering grace and dignity as members of the public were to get the chance to pay their respect to the monarch when her coffin lies at the St. Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh. The personal statement posted on Harry and his wife Meghan's actual website said he cherished the time together from my earliest childhood memories with you to meeting you for the first time as my commander-in-chief to the first moment you met my darling wife and hugged your beloved great-grandchildren. And finally on
Lords and members of the House of Commons, I am deeply grateful for the addresses of condolence by the House of Lords and the House of Commons, which so touchingly encompass what our late sovereign, my beloved mother, the Queen, meant to us all. As Shakespeare says of the earlier Queen Elizabeth, she was a pattern to all princes living. As I stand before you today, I cannot help but feel the weight of history which surrounds us and which reminds us of the vital parliamentary traditions to which members of both houses dedicate yourselves with such personal commitment for the betterment of us all. Parliament is the living and breathing instrument of our democracy. That your traditions are ancient, we see in the construction of this great hall, and the reminders of medieval predecessors of the office to which I have been called, and the tangible connections to my darling late mother we see all around us, from the fountain in New Palace Yard, which commemorates the late Queen's Silver Jubilee, to the sundial in Old Palace Yard for the Golden Jubilee. The magnificent stained glass window before me.
Finally, on the world news is a sports story. French midfielder N'Golo Kante has rejected Chelsea's new contract proposal with the 2018 World Cup winner unhappy at the length of the deal on offer. Kante is out of contract in less than a year's time, having failed to agree new terms with the Blues. Thomas Tuchel spoke openly about the situation with Kante before he was sacked and suggested that the Frenchman has to compromise over any contract extension before and because of his injury problems. Kante has been sidelined regularly over the last 2 years, but he remains the club's highest paid player. He wants to stay at Stamford Bridge, but the club are only offering him an initial 2-year deal with the option of a further 12-month extension. The Blues gave Kalidou Koulibaly a 4-year deal last month, despite the fact that the same age as Kante. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was also given a 3-year deal, despite being 2 years older than Kante. And according to the Athletic, Kante has rejected the club's proposal and is holding out for a longer deal. It comes as 2 Premier League sides show interest in Kante, with the midfielder free to speak to other clubs from January 1st. That concludes the world news from BGI TV. Before we go, let's have some major headlines. ASUU strike, court adjourns case till September 16th. Tension in Enugu community as herders invade farmland, destroy farm produce. We also brought to you that passenger robs Ogun motorcyclists with toy gun. And finally on sports, Kante rejects new Chelsea contract offer. For more updates on YouTube, our handle is Bagede Imo TV. Kindly subscribe. Click on the notification bell, select option all to have access to all of our broadcasts on Facebook. Bagede Imo with Alawi Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. On Instagram, Bagede Imo _22. For advert placement of your goods and services, coverage of events and functions, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen for advert placements only. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Rabila Lawa. Good evening.
Oh, na, na, na. If you want to know what's going on in city, Or you want to listen to the latest news and gist? No stress, oh, just tune to BGI.